Good morning, precious saints. Thank you for joining us in Son of Zion podcast. This morning, I'm sharing something important with us. I call it the private seekers. In the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 1, it was Jesus predicting the destruction of the temple. They were trying to get him to see the beauty of the temple. The Bible says, then as he went out of the temple, one of his disciples said to him, "Teacher, see what manner of stones and what buildings are here." And Jesus answered and said to him, "Do you see these great buildings? Not one stone shall be left upon another that shall not be thrown down." Verse 3, now as he sat on the Mount of Olives opposite the temple, Peter, James, John, and Andrew asked him privately, "Tell us, when will these things be? And what will be the sign when all these things will be fulfilled?" Verse 5, and Jesus answering them began to say. Jesus answering them began to say. Now, Jesus made a statement. Everybody was hearing. There were 12 disciples. So let's assume that there were no other disciples apart from the 12 designated to be apostles that were with him. Let's just say there were 12. He made a statement. After making that statement, he went and he sat down. Then 4 of his disciples, Peter, James, John, and Andrew, came to him privately and asked him, saying, "What will be the signs of this thing that you have spoken?" And Jesus opened his mouth and began to speak to them. Now, you see, it was in verse 3 that in verse 1, 2 to 3, he said something. In fact, it was in verse 2, Mark chapter 13, verse 2, that Jesus said that the temple will be destroyed, no stone will be left on the other. That's all. In verse 3, they went to ask him privately. Then he began to speak in verse 5. And he did not stop speaking till verse 23. What I'm trying to say here is that there is more in the private. The problem with many of us as believers is that we all hear what everyone hears. Can you be a private seeker? People are not hungry. I always tell the people around me, I say there are people when they come to me, by the time they leave, I feel like going back into my closet because I feel virtue has left me. There's a hunger by which it draws something out of you. But there are people that can be all around you, but you don't feel anything. Nothing moves. I want to ask you a question. Are you a private seeker? Or you are just a general statistic? I remember you're part of the general statistic. You go to church on Sunday, the pastor finished talking. He says something, people are shouting, Rema. Many people do not understand what the pastor said. They call King James Version. People do not understand. Thy man, thou. Everybody will just say, "Oh, it's deep." What is deep? They don't know. And private seekers are very few. But few people who are private seekers will go and say, "What did you say?" And I tell you the truth, sometimes, most at times, you hear more than what is being said generally, or to people generally, when you are a private seeker. I've seen it happen in my life. I sat down with people and I asked them private questions. And what they share, I know ministers of the gospel that you hear deeper things from them than when they stand on the pulpit, if you can only go privately. I've seen people come to ask me privately and I've spoken things that I've never believed I'll be able to speak. Deep things coming out of my spirit. It's private seekers. Can you change your posture today? For the past 1 year, have you ever met any man of God in private? You finish morning devotions in your family, and your father or a brother or a pastor, anybody share something in. Did you say, "Oh, please, can we talk about this thing during lunchtime?" We are so busy that immediately we share the grace, everybody go his ways. I'm calling on private seekers today to go for deeper things of God. So call upon me and I will answer you and show you great and mighty things that you do not know. I challenge you this morning. If you want to go far, learn to be a private seeker. The Lord bless you as you go about your business today. Amen.